China. 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 We will launch a new age.
Geoengineering.
What a collection. What a beautiful collection of jingles, folks. All right, this is coming from yahoo.com. It's mirrored from People magazine. The headline is President Trump asked national security officials about weaponized man-made hurricanes from China. Report. Love it. You gotta love it. Trump asked a question. What an idiot, says People. And it goes like this. Early in his presidency, Donald Trump reportedly asked national security officials multiple times about the existence of weaponized man-made hurricanes from China. Two unnamed former senior administration officials and a third person briefed on the matter told Rolling Stone, oh, that's how you know it's true, that Trump brought up a supposed secret technology that would allow China to create sizable hurricanes on command and launch them at the U.S. The former president asked about it repeatedly during his first year in office, according to the report. The question came up sporadically until at least 2018, before Trump stopped inquiring about what some began calling hurricane guns, or merely joking about it. Oh, they're bullying the president. Quote, it was almost too stupid for words, a former Trump official, quote, intimately familiar with the then sitting president's inquiry, according to Rolling Stone, told the outlet, quote, I did not get the sense he was joking at all. Man, remember back in the day when journalists would have to name their sources? Like that was a core principle of journalism and like a stopgap or a protection against journalists just making stuff up out of nowhere, having somebody accountable for these quotes. Those were the good old days. And especially Rolling Stone, who now has completely destroyed any credibility that they've really ever had after making up the story about gunshot victims not being able to get into a hospital because of COVID, unvaccinated COVID patients. So, there you go, Rolling Stone. Another former senior official who claimed to be present when the president asked about the hurricane guns said Trump, quote, wanted to know if the technology existed. Fair question, if you ask me. Quote, one guy in the room responded, not to the best of my knowledge, sir. I kept it together until I got back to my office, the official said. Quote, I do not know where the then president would have heard about that. He was asking about it around the time, maybe a little before, he asked people about nuking hurricanes. In a 2019 tweet, Trump said reports that he asked about Trump said reports that he asked about using nuclear weapons to stop hurricanes heading towards the U.S. were fake news. A rep for the former president did not respond to people's request for a comment on Trump's questions about purported Chinese weaponized hurricanes. Former Trump aide turned tell-all author, a nemesis, Stephanie Grisham. Wow. This is a book advertisement, I think is what this is. Nemesis, Stephanie Grisham said she never heard buzz about hurricane guns, but added that the report does not surprise me at all. Quote, stuff like that was not unusual for him. He would blurt out crazy things all the time and tell aides to look into it or do something about it. Grisham told Rolling Stone, quote, his staff would say they'd look into, knowing that more often than not, he'd forget about it quickly, much like a toddler.
Oh, gosh.
Ooh, nemesis. That's some nemesis talk.
I wonder if it felt good to do that,
Oh,
to write these quotes and stuff like, oh man, little 2017, 2018 kind of feel.
Oh, it feels good. Yeah. Oh, it feels good to be called Trump's nemesis too. I mean, talk about a title to give yourself. Then it talks about
Can you just read this next sentence though?
Oh, sure. Yeah. In addition to the
you skipped it.
Trump has a history with hurricanes.
Yeah, he does.
That was important. Very important. Do you want to?
No,
I mean, it just kind of goes through.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to kind of just list, sort of dubious claims about how stupid Trump is.
Yeah, which is interesting because in the context of, hey, what's up with the weather technology that China might have?
Yeah.
Well, in 2020 here, Business Insider. Let's see. This is Business Insider on. I'm trying to get the exact date here. The page is freezing.
It's December 2020.
December 2020. Yep. The headline.
December
China,
4th.
Yeah, the headline, December 4th, 2020. China is massively expanding its weather modification program, saying it will be able to cover half the country in artificial rain and snow by 2025.
Oh.
So you mean they have weather modification technology? Perhaps it can control hurricanes?
It's not a hurricane gun. It's a snowstorm gun. Guns. Only an idiot would call it a hurricane gun.
Only a buffoon.
It's obviously a blizzard rifle.
But, that's what's interesting about this is that, okay, the little Trump, an attempt to do a little Trump bashing that they haven't done in a while. They bring up the story about China and all this kind of stuff. But, putting aside the concerns about an actual Russian weather modification technology existing, just hate on Trump. Yeah. Which is the great distraction there because
totally. Yeah. Again, it's not great that we're put in a position to have to defend Trump, but the fact of the matter is he was asking a legit question. Yeah. And the fact that, all these mainstream authors and people literally making a career off the man, they would be nothing without him. Admittedly, most of the mainstream media would be nothing without Trump at this point.
Yeah.
It's just an ignorance, and people read that and don't look into it, and the ignorance spreads even farther and faster, almost like some sort of virus that could have been created in a Chinese laboratory. Weird.
That's my noise.
Yeah, that's good. What else you got?
All right, so we're still talking about China, but maybe another kind of weapon.
Bitcoin, go to moon.
Bitcoin. All right, this is from the South China Morning Post, who's asking for our support. No.
Love it. Yeah, so we're getting some straight up propaganda.
Mm-hmm. And the headline, China may have massive underground Bitcoin mining operations despite ban last year. Cambridge data shows. Now,
what kind of data?
Before I read the article here, I just want to say that back in June 29th of 2021, I stated, I'm pretty sure that China didn't really kick out their Bitcoin miners. They simply moved them outside of the homeland to set up shop worldwide, including the U.S., a great way to infiltrate data centers. So I wasn't exactly right according to what we're about to be told here, but I was pretty close.
Pretty
close.
Yeah, you were close enough.
Yeah. So it says here, China has reemerged as a major Bitcoin mining hub despite the country's complete ban on the practice a year ago, according to data from the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance, CCNT, on Tuesday.
We did have a big conversation about this, that this is exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
This was back when Kazakhstan was falling.
Right. Kazakhstan?
Is that not
Afghanistan?
Right? No, Kazakhstan. No. Remember the civil unrest.
The money. Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
in Kazakhstan, the whatever they were, the number one or number two Bitcoin miners in the world or whatever, happened at the same time China banned Bitcoin, and here we are.
Yep. From last September to January, traffic from China accounted for about 20% of Bitcoin's total hash rate, a measure of the network's processing power for verifying transactions and mining new cryptocurrency tokens. The uptick in activity came after data suggested it had fallen to zero in July, following a ban on mining last May. I remember when this happened. Yeah, we did talk about this. We were like, this
is at the exact
right.
same time as the Kazakhstan sort of unrest or whatever.
Right. The CCAF regularly publishes the Cambridge Bitcoin Electricity Consumption Index, the CBECI, based on aggregated geolocational data reported by partnering mining pools. Its data shows that mining activities in China recovered quickly last year after showing virtually no activity from China in August. It was back up to 22.3% of the Bitcoin hash rate the following month. And for those of you who don't understand or know too much about this stuff, basically, if a country has 22.3% of the hash rate, there's something called the 51% attack in Bitcoin. If any actor is able to control 51% of the network that's decentralized in all these different locations all over the world, then they can effectively attack the chain. They can make changes or disrupt it or whatever.
Take control of the majority of the network.
Right.
That's the only way to get it, which is actually a wonderful safety feature.
It is.
But
because it costs money to attack it, and so you have to have endless money to attack it. But then, if you're an attacker, why would you attack it if it's going to go to zero, not worth anything if you control it?
The idea is it would cost significantly more money than you could earn by hacking.
Right. And it disincentivizes trying to take over. But anyway, the data strongly suggests that significant underground mining activity had formed in the country, the CCAF said in a statement. Access to off-grid electricity and geographically scattered small-scale operations are among the major means used by underground miners to hide their operations from authorities and circumvent the ban. Which is interesting. Are they circumventing the ban, or are they just doing it more covertly under the watchful eye of the world?
Yeah, right.
Because
or is
Bitcoin
it the government?
Yeah, the government. Given the abrupt recovery in Chinese traffic, the temporary lull may have been a result of miners going underground, according to CCIF. Quote, it takes time to find existing or build new non-traceable hosting facilities at that scale, CCAF said. It is probable that a non-trivial share of Chinese miners quickly adapted to the new circumstances and continued operating covertly while hiding their tracks using foreign proxy services to deflect attention and scrutiny. Quote, as the ban has set in and time has passed, it appears that underground miners have grown more confident and seem content with the protection offered by local proxy services. The center added, Chinese miners also try to diversify their locations, according to an industry insider named Bob.
Love it. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob, who offers services for hosting mining operations in Europe and the U.S. He asked to only be identified by his first name because he is currently stuck in China due to COVID-19 pandemic. Quote, miners in China use a VPN and try not to use too much energy from a single spot, so the electrical company cannot detect any strange energy consumption, Bob said. The ban last year created headaches for business owners trying to move expensive specialized equipment. By the end of 2021, at least 2 million cryptocurrency mining machines were stuck in southwestern Sichuan province because of complicated relocation procedures. It goes into a little bit more here. And just the history of, where China was beforehand. They were the dominant force when it came to hash rate. And, I really should, there's a couple interviews that were done in some of the more popular cryptocurrency channels in recent weeks that talked about how the hardware side of Bitcoin, the mining rigs and all this kind of stuff, is a weapon. And there's an MIT guy that sort of walks you through how it is a weapon and how the U.S. needs to make their mining infrastructure more, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Robust?
Robust, thank you. In order to compete with the likes of China or other nations that are also going to be fighting this hash war type of thing. So very interesting, but not surprising whatsoever. And yeah, it's just one of those called it moments because we knew there's no way China's going to give up the kind of influence they have on the future of digital gold.
Yeah, it's a very serious, and it's something that they've done before, which is ban something.
Oh, they constantly do it.
Send a message, and then what they really do is just kind of, the government takes it underground, and they just don't want their people to be sort of empowered that way.
Right.
Very interesting.
Yep.
I think it is also interesting that it is being reported as if it's not the government. Perhaps it's not.
Because it's the South China Morning Post.
Totally.
Which is they would be the ones reporting it, and they would be the ones to misdirect the actual culprits of
right.
It's just people just hiding from they're trying to do it without the government noticing them, or they're doing it for the government. They're getting a cut or whatever.
Yeah.